Ruben, how you going?
I'm doing very well, thanks, Pato. It's great to be here. Actually, I can't believe it. It's really,
Yeah,
it's yeah, long time listener, first time caller. I wanted to open with that.
yeah, awesome. Well, I remember we actually met in person at the Sat Champs. Time goes fast. That was like 2 years ago now.
Yeah, it was. It was about 2 years ago, and yeah, that was actually a really fun event to be in and around as well. I wasn't obviously running in it. I'm nowhere near that level, but it was just so cool to be around so many of well, all of Australia's top backyarders. It was just terrific, and yeah, it just speaks to the sense of community that we enjoy as a running community. So just absolutely love being there. I was there way too much. Hope my boss never checks my hours that day. That's for sure.
Were you there at night time at the end for the end?
Not the end. No, I went there on an evening. So that was the evening before the end. So I came down there with my boys. So yeah, they're both big time into it as well. So
Yeah,
we just enjoyed just being part of the atmosphere. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. It was an awesome turnout. It was such a good place because it was obviously so central and close to so many people. So there was I reckon there was at least 100 people there
Yeah.
watching.
Yeah, no, it was immense. Yeah, really cool. And it was just people. Yeah, just a lot of my friends would go there as well. Like I know my mate Charles. He went past on the way to work. One of the guys that you've had on your podcast before. So he was a bit like, man, we'd be calling each other during the day, just talking about how the guys were going, and just really getting in behind the team and just supporting them. It was just really really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um, so yeah, look, thanks for signing up to the unscripted
yeah.
version of the show, by the way.
No worries at all. It's probably where I fit a bit better. I'm not anywhere near the level of, and in fact, any of the guests. I've got a very different story to everybody else. But yeah, look, many people have heard my story and think it's one that's worth telling. It's yeah, hopefully a few people get encouraged by it as well. Yeah, it's taken a long time for me to get comfortable sharing it with a lot of people, but yeah, it's yeah, I'm part of the backyard community. I love being part of the backyard community. I can't run as far as my all my heroes in the backyard community, but yeah, they're happy to have me there too. So I'm just really appreciate that.
Yeah, cool. So I remember you told me just a little bit of your background and I guess your story as well. So
Mm.
um, yeah, look, I mean, I'd love to be able to hear it, and because yeah, from what I've heard, it is really interesting.
Yeah, look, it started from a backyard point of view. It started off with me in one of my mates' houses from the church that I go to. I was up at his house up here in the Perth Hills, and I was looking at all these wooden spoon things that said DNF on them. And I'm going, what's that about? They're just hanging there in his kitchen. And he said, and he told me, he said, "Oh, this is a format. This is what I do. I love doing it." Yeah, that was my mate Owen. I've run a lot with him since, and I thought, mate, you're mad. Like you're just simply mad. You're actually quite insane. And at that stage, I was standing in his kitchen, weighing 187 kilos.
Wow.
So that was probably right at the height of my powers as far as my commitment to the fat guy lifestyle was concerned.
Yeah,
And it was, yeah, that was the first time I really heard about it. And then it started to pop up in a few other conversations with people that I'd heard about. And I was, oh, this is just intriguing, just how mad these people are that just keep running for no good reason.
yeah,
And bear in mind, at that time, as I said, I was absolutely enormous. I was what they call morbidly obese. I don't know why they throw the morbidly in there. It's just being obese is bad enough. But
yeah,
um, I I was yeah really out of shape. I'd come from a physical job back in South Australia, off a dairy farm that my wife and I owned a large share in. We left that and moved into Perth to a pretty sedentary sort of existence, and just developed a lot of bad habits. Just started, yeah, getting KFC at the drive-through every day. At my worst, that's what I was doing. I was downing 16 cups of coffee a day just to keep myself moving, and progressively, and I just kept telling myself, "Oh, I'm not that fat. I'm not that fat." And I remember saying to my wife, "Oh, that guy." We'd be in the malls and shopping, and I said, "Oh, am I as fat as that guy there?" And she'd say, "Oh, nah," but actually, I was. And so she's trying to sort of, yeah, just be kind. And
yeah,
at the same time, eventually, it was actually my sister. She went and got a procedure done, which is called a gastric sleeve, where yeah, she was also struggling with weight. And the reality is, and I get to say this as a former fat guy, you become what you eat. I ate far too much food and enjoyed my meals way too much and didn't skip any. I always made sure I had a couple of extras.
Yeah.
But she got the procedure done, and I thought that's just incredible. And at the time, I remember being quite angry at her, thinking it was a cop out, thinking it was a bit of a weak way around a pretty serious health issue.
Mm.
But over time, seeing the changes that she made in her life, she became way more active. Just she's more into cycling than running, which that's her thing. That's cool. But I just started to get jealous actually, and I said to my wife one day, I said, I got to have a look at this because I can't keep going like this. I went to my GP, terrific fella. And he said to me, Ruben, you need to consider your lifestyle because you don't see many old, really fat people. So if you want to be around for your kids, you need to get serious about this. And so I know, yeah, he's just been a terrific tower of support as well, my GP through this process. And I decided the surgery that I got done was in July, 19th of July, 2022 was the day that I went in. So I decided to do it about 13 months before that. Now that's important at 13 months because I needed to upgrade my health insurance to ensure I had coverage because it's not a cheap exercise. So
Mhm.
the day I went in for the surgery, I weighed 187 kilos. That's pretty big by any stretch of the imagination. So that's where it started. At that
And
point, yeah.
oh, so I was just going to say, like, so leading up to getting the gastric sleeve, were
Yep.
you were you starting to change your lifestyle leading up to it, or were you like eating as much as you could, thinking, I'm going to make the most of this now because I don't have the gastric sleeve yet?
Yeah, that's exactly right, Pato. That's exactly what happened. And to the point where there's a bit of a funny story here. As I mentioned, I was a bit of a KFC fiend. I was a bit like, you get drug addicts who know where all the meth labs and everything are and all the dealers are. I knew in Perth where pretty much every KFC was. It was pretty encyclopedic, my knowledge of the KFCs. Um, Not something I'm particularly, I laugh about it now, but
Yeah,
yeah. Um, well, what was interesting about that though, the week before the surgery, my surgeon said, "Oh, this is what you need to eat and drink," and it was a terrible, honestly. The food I was allowed to eat for that week, it was a cleansing type diet. Anyway, massive shout out to my family, my wife Teresa, my son Ethan, my other son Sebastian, my third son Xavier, and my daughter Mackenzie. They all did that week with me, eating this horrible food, and it was all just vegetables and stuff that I actually enjoy eating now.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, the crazy thing was the night before the surgery, I thought, stuff this. This is just not on. So I've got Find My on my phone. We share that our locations as a family. I turned Find My off on my phone, and I snuck off down the road, went to the KFC and bought a 10 pack of Wicked Wings the night before the surgery. So there I am hiding out the back of Armidale, telling my wife that I had to go and see the builder because we were building a house at the time. And there I am noshing down on these 10 Wicked Wings. And I get to surgery the next day and I'm just crapping myself because I've broken the rules. I'm thinking, oh, this guy, he's going to what's going to happen now? So the night before the surgery, I was so terrified. I had a stomach full of KFC Wicked Wings. And the surgeon just goes, how'd you enjoy your last meal? This is while he's prepping me for surgery. And I said, what do you mean? He goes, oh, you would have snuck something in last night. He goes, I'm about to see what it was. Absolutely hilarious. So that was what happened the night before, but it made me pretty nervous. But when he sort of
yeah,
fobbed it off with a joke, I was like, oh, okay, yeah,
yeah,
this is normal.
yeah.
But but yeah, it was a scary time because I didn't know what I was in for. Like I was so nervous about the changes, the diet, and all that stuff, and yeah, I just really it was a really tough thing to go through.
Yeah. So can you
So
describe what like a gastric sleeve actually is and how it works and what it
yeah,
does?
so it's keyhole surgery, but what they do is they go into your belly, and then you've got the stomach obviously, and they basically staple the stomach, cut it down to about I can't remember off the top of my head, but about 15% of its actual size. And they staple that and then they cut off that bit that they stapled and chuck it in the bin. So basically, your stomach goes from being capable of holding large amounts of food, way more than you need, down to what you need to survive. And eventually, it actually goes to a size where if you do the right thing and follow all the instructions of the surgeon, the nutritionist, then yeah, you'll actually get to a point where you're going to thrive, and that's where I'm in that phase. So yeah, it's been massively successful for me. But yeah, 2/3 of my stomach or 3/4 of my stomach went into the bin. So
Wow.
yeah, yep,
And what did it feel like? I guess straight away, like, and then in the weeks afterwards, like,
yeah.
how did it change your life?
Oh, the hardest thing was the mind, like mentally. And one of the things that I really credit my sister for here as well is that she has this guy that she used, a mental health coach, which wasn't offered as part of my package with my surgeon, but she had that. She lives over in New Zealand. And so I actually set up contact with this guy called Sherman, and he's still to this day a very important part of my journey. Just he's just a guy I can download with, talk about the challenges that I do face. He's a really empathetic guy, and just a really good asset to have in my corner. So that mental space was the bit I struggled with the most. Craving things that you just can't eat anymore. That
Yeah,
was really tough, particularly that yeah, the first month after surgery, you're basically on a liquid diet, and that was just savage. It was just so hard. I've never anyone who thinks that doing a sleeve is an easy option, it really isn't, and it's life changing. And for me, I can look back on it now and say, thankfully for good. But it was really, really tough, especially that first month and probably the first 3 months, to the point, Pato, where we'd be having dinner and I'd get angry, and this is the mental health stuff again.
yeah,
Yeah, I'd be watching my kids eat, thinking, you don't need to eat that much food. And
yeah,
these are growing boys, like these are young men, right? My boys are all strappy. You've
yeah,
met Baz anyway. You know he's 6'2" and just
yeah,
built like a tank, so
yeah,
he needs fuel. And yeah, so I'm looking at my family eating and just getting annoyed at them, and irrationally so. And I know that in my mind, but at the same time, I'm going, I'm just so jealous that you can eat this food, and I'm not allowed to, and I can't. So yeah, it was tough. Yeah,
yeah,
mentally, really tough for a while.
yeah. How long did it take to start losing the weight after the surgery?
Oh, really quickly. Yeah, after the first month, I think I'd already dropped over 10 kilos. Um, yeah, so, and then I tell you what, like the amount of times I'd go, I think we went clothes shopping 3 times or 3 separate distinct times in the phase of losing all the weight. And I got to say, like, yeah, after about, I think it was about 4 months, I was able to shop in a regular person shop for the first time in a long time. And I actually cried, like I was pretty emotional.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's a lot of emotion that goes with it, and particularly, yeah, just in that recovery phase. And that's actually what led me to my surgeon said, he goes, you've got to pick up an activity, like go walking. And that was it. That was a key part of my recovery was going walking. And I used to outsource walking to my kids because I was too fat and I didn't want to do it. So I'd be blowing, mate. You should have seen. I mean, I sweat a lot anyway. I can talk about my sweat test with Gabby a bit later, but I'm one of those guys that sweats pretty quick and a lot. And so imagine that at 187 kegs, like you, it's just rolling off you. So yeah, and living in Perth, which is pretty warm. Yeah, so my kids got a lot of walks in, but I didn't. So
So, so leading into the surgery, were you telling yourself after the surgery, I'm going to start running, or are you going to start any particular activity, or was it just kind of like, I'll worry about that later?
yeah, great question. The running part, as I said before, I thought all the runners that I knew, I thought they were all a bit mad. They're these guys that were doing these loops
Yeah,
for no discernible purpose. And Owen is probably the guy that I spent the most time talking to about running because as I said, we're in the same church and we were working together pretty closely in that phase as well. And I'd take the running started just as a walk actually. So what I don't know, I went to Champion Lakes, which is not far from where we lived at the time, and I'd start walking around that with my wife, and she used to be able to walk and run way quicker than me. But we just started walking, and then one day I just thought, I'll see if I could jog 100 meters and see what happens. And as the weight kept coming off, I'm just feeling better and better about myself, more and more confident. Um, and I used to, like when I was a teenager, I used to do quite a bit of running. And I thought, I'll just see how we go. So I didn't have any flash. I got so many pairs of shoes. I got more shoes than my wife. She laughs about it. So many running shoes. But at the time, I was just running around in the old, just whatever,
yeah,
ever shoes. And I started running, and then it became a goal. There was a 5K, well, there's a half marathon that's called the Soul Runners Half Marathon. It's run in April and May, and it's a run that people that Owen and guys like Charles are very involved in terms of setting it up. And I said, I'm going to enter that. I'm going to do the 5K, and I'm going to do it without stopping. That became a goal.
Yeah.
And part of I had a food addiction, obviously. Well, I replaced that addiction with a healthy addiction. At the time, I kicked coffee as well. So while I was in the hospital, after the surgery, I was obviously on pain meds and stuff, and I was like, here's a good time to kick coffee. So I kicked coffee to the curb.
Yeah.
And so anyway, I just started, gradually building. I went through my Strava just with Sebastian last night, just thinking about this podcast today, and I just looked at the progress and some of the comments I made about my runs in the early days. I'm just laughing, just going, mate, I was so stoked to be running 7-minute Ks. So it was mega effort for me back then.
Yeah. Yeah. How good is
um,
that?
yeah, it was really cool. But I remember one run I was doing with my son Xavier. So he was the one who was. All of my sons have been very involved in my running journey at one phase or another. And at this 5K phase was Xavier's time to shine. So Xavier's running around with me, and he was only, he would have been 11 or something at the time. And he's trying to encourage me.
Yeah.
And one of the things we say in our house quite a bit is, like, if someone's being a bit of a sook, we just go, don't be a pussy. So anyway, Xavier's running with me. We're at the 4.1K mark. I remember it vividly. And he's gone to me, Dad, no more pussy. I
Yeah.
went, what do you mean no more? I think you got that one a bit wrong, mate. But
Yeah.
I love the intent. So that one's a bit of a joke that still flies around the family. And but he was superbly contributing to my progress at that point. And it was so he gets credit for my first 5K. So
Yeah.
but yeah, so I made it. I did the first that first event. I got a medal for 5K, so I was pretty stoked. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Awesome. And
but it was slow.
and then did you start thinking, or how did you start thinking about longer distances and running more and things like that?
I sort of fell into that by accident. I just decided one day to run from my home to Champion Lakes, and that turned out that was 10Ks. I thought, oh, that's cool. I can run 10Ks. This is amazing. And what I really enjoyed about the running, at this stage, I'd actually joined Parkrun. So Champion Lakes Parkrun is our home parkrun, and we're still very actively involved with it. And as I've heard from many of your guests, so much of the running journey started with parkrun, and my sense of community really developed there. I'm a run director there now. My wife and kids all volunteer there regularly, and we just love the people there. Like we've just, yeah. What's really amazing about this whole process is how my friends have changed. Not that my old friends were bad, or they're not in any way. They're still very dear to me, but I have such a huge group of new friends, and we're all nuts. We're all running and just
Yeah.
and encouraging each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really what I love about it. So
Yeah.
yeah, so
Yeah.
park run's what really kicked it off, and then you start running with different people there, and you just go, you know what, I can actually run further and further. And then Charles talked me into having a crack at Birdys for my first backyard. So that
Yeah.
was pretty mega. Yeah, by
Yeah.
then I'd run a half marathon. Yeah, my first half marathon. Actually, I'll send you a photo. You can use it on your as a screen grab, whatever. It shows me at my fattest, and then it shows me when I finished my first official half marathon with my
Yeah.
3 boys standing next to me. That's a pretty powerful photo. So
Yeah. Yeah. That would
yeah,
be awesome. Yeah.
yeah.
So what year was it the birdies? What was it, 24?
Would have been 24. Yeah, yeah. That
Yeah.
was my first one. Yeah, I did. I've only done 3 backyards. That was 2 birdies now and Hurdies once.
Yeah.
So yeah, as I said, I'm not prolific in this space, but I'm very passionate about it, as you've heard me talking about it with yourself on many
Yeah.
occasions as well. So
So,
yeah,
I mean, nutrition's such a big thing with backyard ultras. So, with your circumstance, with your gastric sleeve, that would make things a bit
yep.
different than most runners, right?
It's a massive challenge, Pato, and that's really why part of it. I mean, look, I'd love to say that I'd love to do 24 hours. That'd be amazing for me, given my circumstances. There's a couple of complications to my situation with the sleeve, and as I mentioned earlier, I'm a profuse sweater. So hydration's a massive challenge for me because I've only got so much capacity in my stomach. Like if I look at Sebastian, who's just run a marathon, he just stands there and downs a liter of water. I can't. I haven't got that as an option. Um, So hydration's a massive issue. And then combine that with food as well, with nutrition. It's usually cramping that puts me out, like something I just can't get enough. And one of the important parts of that, so listening to your podcast, was I started hearing the name Gabby Villa keep popping up, and I said to my wife, if I'm going to have a crack at one of these backyards, I said I need some help. I need some help from someone who actually A, understands the sport, B, doesn't think we're completely crazy,
Yeah.
and C, might have something of an idea about how to manage nutrition, maybe with someone like me with a sleep. So I reached out to Gabby, and thankfully she took me on as a client. I was a client of hers for probably just over a year, and she was immensely valuable. Just yeah, I mean, everyone. If anyone's met Gabby, you know what I'm talking about. She's just an awesome person.
Yeah.
She even came up to we had a training night here at my house, and all the backyarders, all my friend group came up here, and she came up as well just to meet and greet and mingle. It was really cool. So, but one of the things she said to me, she said, we need to do a sweat test. I went, oh, all right. So I did a sweat test, and I said to her, I said, oh, look, I sweat a lot. It won't take long. Anyway, all it says, I've got the sweat test in front of me here. It just says well above average, well above average, well above average. And
Yeah.
so my rate of loss, and this was on a 20-degree day running around Optus Stadium here in Perth, and I lost, my sweat rate is 2.85 liters an hour, which is just unbelievable. I think she said elite athletes sweat somewhere around 2.4 an hour. So
Wow.
if you think about that in the context of a moderate run, which is what it was about a 5 minute pace. It was nothing extreme. On a 20-degree day, and I'm dropping nearly 3 liters
Mm.
sweat an hour. That's just mad. And I got to sleep. So how do you
Yeah.
get around it? So
Yeah.
yeah, it's really challenging.
So, what strategies did you put in place with Gabby to, I guess, overcome that issue?
Well, I'm not sure we actually overcame it as such. It's a learning and a developing process that's still ongoing now, building on the back of it. One of the things about the sleeve that's funny is the different foods that you can't tolerate. So she put together a run plan,
Yeah.
just very much Phil Gore style in terms of this is what you're going to do every lap. This is what you're going to take out on the lap with you. And I need that sort of structure and discipline. Otherwise, it's just going to go to cactus because I'm just that sort of a guy. I'll just not do stuff. So
Mm.
anyway, she put together a nutrition plan, working out things like carbs, protein, and also trying to find a balance between the hydration side as well. But thankfully, Birdies is well, you know about Birdies. It's in the middle of nowhere, and it's pretty cool. It's cold. It
Yeah.
starts at 10 in the morning in the middle of winter, basically. So there's a lot of things about that one that worked in my favor. What we've found though, especially, and this is really important for me, was doing the training stuff at home. There was things that worked really well, like Marmite or Vegemite and cheese sandwiches were just terrific.
Mm.
Um, LCM bars were great, a bit of a sugar hit and some carbs. What didn't work for me, a lot of people love them, are the snakes lollies. I just can't stand them anymore.
Yeah.
They just rebelled in the worst way. And also some of the gels as well. Some of the gels, like certain gels that and I know it's a taste thing, I get it, but the pure ones for me, they work really well.
Mm.
They were terrific. I tried the Hammer Nutrition ones. They were okay, but after a few loops, my stomach just started to play up big time, much more than you'd expect. That, like, only lap 6 or 7, I'm just going, oh, this is bad. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, there was a lot going on. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Was
yeah,
and was this the did you start working with Gabby before your first backyard
yeah,
ultra? Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. Because I'd listened to enough of your podcast to know that I didn't know enough about it to go into it, and it's not cheap to enter these things. And if I'm going to do it, I just want to have a decent crack at it.
Mm.
At least know that if I do dip out, it's not because of I haven't given it everything. And so she making that decision to go with her was a really important step, just to give me some peace of mind as well, and also for my wife, who's my crew, just so she had some clarity about what to do as well. And she was really good. Like, she on the run plan that Gabby put together, she'd take notes. And Gabby was available on WhatsApp and stuff if we needed any advice or input while we're doing the running as well.
Mm.
just to, yeah, because it's uncharted territory. I don't know. Maybe there are others with a sleeve that have taken up backyard running. I don't know, but I've not come across them.
Mm.
Um, yeah, so it's a very unique set of circumstances, and I know Gabby really appreciated the challenge of trying to nut that one out too.
Yeah.
But a lot of it was actually trying to get ready for the run before, like the days before, and that just that intentional nutrition before you actually head out on the course. So yeah, she was really good about that.
Mm.
Just yeah, telling me what to do. I wasn't always that great at following all the instructions, as my wife will attest. But at least at least then I can just blame myself. But most of the time, yeah, it definitely helped. So
Yeah. Cool.
yeah.
And what can you tell me about that first run at Birdys?
I remember getting into the corral thinking, what the heck am I doing here? Like it was just the most surreal feeling of I'm lining up, there's like 200 people there, whatever it was, and I'm just going, this is actually nuts. And the group I was with, they're all guys, all mates of mine from church. I think it was about 7 or 8 of us, and we're all wearing the same shirt. We decided we wear it. Actually, I've designed a shirt now, which is going to go into print soon.
Oh,
So that's
awesome.
going to be cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Stashes, not rashes, is the team name. We're going to go with that. So my son's all rock a moustache as well, although one cave and now wears a beard. But anyway, back to birdies. I remember standing there in the corral just going, I watched so many of those docos, those videos, oh, what's that young kid's name? That super impressive one. I forgot his name. But
Ollie?
yeah, Ollie. Oh man, I watched that, but the video of him running around. I don't know if it was at Birdie's, but I remember watching Ollie on. I think yeah, and I'm just so impressed with this young kid, and I just
Yeah.
that's such an awesome effort, and he's doing that with his dad, and
Yeah.
I'm standing there and I'm going. I'm doing this with one of my sons, and that was Sebastian. The other son was crewing, and anyway, and I'm standing there just thinking, this is just unbelievably cool. I had the biggest grin on my face. Like I was just
Yeah.
like, I cannot believe I'm going to do this, and this is going to be, and it was every bit as awesome as I hoped it would be. You know how sometimes you build something up in your mind and you think, oh, this, and then you get disappointed by the outcome. I was so stoked with that weekend. It was Birdies is just a really special place for me, and if there's no other ultras that I do, Birdies is going to be one that I keep coming back to. It's just really special. The people are awesome there. Yeah, just getting to know different people. It's just been really, really impactful in my life, actually. But
Yeah.
to be out there for that first loop
Yeah.
was just mega. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So it sounds like you walked away happy with the effort you put in and the result.
yeah. It was the furthest I'd run. I did. I got 12 hours.
That's awesome.
Yeah, which look, if someone had told me, before my sleeve in 2022 that what in 2 years, almost to the day from that date, you're going to be running 12-hour 6.71K loops, I would have thought they were completely crackers. But I remember finishing, and what put me out actually was my ITB. So it
Right.
flared right up. So I know I've messaged you a bit about leg days
Yeah.
in the gym. I hear that come up, but I tell you what, it wasn't my nutrition that put me out. So kudos again to Gabby and to Teresa for keeping all that together. And it wasn't even fatigue in terms of the muscles and stuff. I was tired, like you're going to be after 12 hours of doing that, but I was so in so much pain. It already started on loop 11. I loop 10, and then I ran through it in loop 11, and then by the end of loop 12, I was just dragging my left leg around with me like a dead weight. I think I came in at like 59 minutes and 20 seconds or something. I
Right.
was just cooked.
Yeah.
I was done. I thought, no, I just can't go again. It was just too sore. But yeah, I was really, really stoked. And then the next day we walked the course with the group of us. Yeah, that was the year that Charles actually got the assist to
Mm.
yeah,
Smart.
uh, yeah. Chris got the win that year, which I was pretty stoked about as well. So
Yeah.
yeah, Chris is a mate of mine now as well. Chris and Jocelyn, they're just great people as well. So yeah, that was really cool actually. Yeah, really
Yeah.
special. So
Did you learn anything as far like did you absolutely nail the nutrition or were there some bits that you tinkered with for your
yeah,
next race?
yeah, well, that was the one where we learned a lot about the gels, particularly, and also the use of caffeine, just as
Oh yeah.
more of a strategic weapon in the yeah, just because I don't drink coffee regularly anymore. The caffeine gels and stuff really have a pretty strong impact. So we did take some learnings out of that. If I go back through the run notes, it was obviously get rid of the snakes, have more have more Vegemite sandwiches, and other stuff that was weirdly desirable was a cup of hot chocolate. And I know people have talked about chocolate milks and stuff, and that really did work for me as well. So it was actually my son was sitting next to me at the end of the loop, and he was drinking a hot chocolate, and I'd had a cup of tea put in front of me, and I just went, I don't want the tea. Give me that chocolate. And I just
Yeah.
started drinking it. He was looking at me like, what are you doing? But I thought, no, man, I'm older than you. I'm going to call dibs. So we added that sort of stuff in, just being a bit, yeah, and then working out which gel worked. Like back then, I was still on the hammers, and not knocking the product. But as I said, it's a good product, but it just didn't go well with my stomach. So that was a big change we made for the next one, which was Birdys. So I'd switched to the pure gels by that point, and definitely fixed up the put some more sandwiches in the mix and a hot drink. So
Yeah.
yeah, just it doesn't sound like much, but for those of us who do run these things, you know that these small changes they can have a big impact.
Yeah,
So
for sure. Yeah, they definitely
yeah.
do. And you did mention the caffeine. How did you use caffeine in that first one, and how have you evolved that strategy?
So the first one, I had some caffeine before the run started. So sort of like I don't know what was it, an hour before or something like that. I actually just drank a coffee,
Mm.
and then on the run itself, every 3 loops, I would take one of those caffeine gels, one of the gels with caffeine in it. And as I said, they were the hammer ones at the time. And I really liked the taste of them. But that had like it was absolutely amazing the impact for someone who hadn't had much coffee in 2 years to
Yeah,
start taking this concentrated caffeine. It just puts the eye. It's like bang, just you're up and you're away. It was pretty powerful. Yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
And so Herdes was your next one, right?
Hmm. Yeah, that was a brute.
Right. Yeah.
So coming back to so as much as I love Birdies, and I don't get me wrong, I love the vibe at Herdies as well. Phil Gore was actually run director the year that I did
Oh,
Herdies.
yeah. Cool.
Yeah, that was cool. So yeah, he's obviously the goat.
Yeah.
There's no yeah, just to have him as the RD or the
Oh,
event director for that was pretty cool.
were you following Biggs? Were you watching the
Yeah,
Biggs?
mate, how cool was Biggs?
Oh,
I was so bad. I'm sitting here. I'm in my office at home now, and I got these 2 screens, and I just kept it was just awesome. Every time I'd be sitting up till 1 in the morning watching it, getting up at 6 and
yeah.
checking what was going on again. And I worked from home for that whole week.
Yeah. Good idea.
Yeah, I had the screen on the left hand side here, and I'm chatting away as well. Just
Oh,
really not. That was just fantastic, wasn't it? What a great
oh,
event that was. It was
yeah.
just I don't know. Yeah, I know there's and then to see Sarah, like the women just blew me away. Like just so impressive. And actually, obviously doing the runs myself, I've just got so much respect for, and I just celebrate their success. Like I'm sitting here with my limitations and appreciating and accepting them where they are, but to be in the community and to celebrate the successes. And I looked at your effort at MVP just recently, and I just go, man, that's cool. I just am so stoked for people that can do that, and I'd love to be able to do 24 to 30 hours or whatever it is, but I don't know that that's in my future with the limitations that I've got. But I'm just gonna keep enjoying being part of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, but even just on the online stuff with Biggs, it was just mega, like just so much fun.
Yeah.
And to see Phil do what he did, and to
Uh,
make, I know it's not easy, but he does make it look easy, doesn't he? Like
yeah.
it's just,
Yeah.
yeah,
He was on
it's
a
the same at Dead
yeah.
Cow as well. He was just immense. He
Yeah.
was,
Yeah. That
yeah,
yeah. Like when I saw the live stream, how he looked just to me, he looked just as good as he looked at Dead Cat
yeah.
Valley. And I thought when I saw that towards the end, there's no way he's going to lose this.
One of my favorite parts of Biggs though was when you jumped on and did some
Oh,
commentating. That was, man, you annoyed some people.
yeah, I know. Well, yeah, that caught me by surprise, Ruben, because
Yeah,
they were messaging me from the very start of the race saying, "Oh, we're going to get you on it soon. We're going to get you on soon." And by the 102nd hour, whatever it was, when I did go on, I had lost. I thought, "There's no way. The time is done." And then they
yeah.
said, "You're on now." So they caught me off guard, and but I still had a good time.
Oh, you were
I
awesome. But just that guy, like you were just calling it out. Like it was obvious to all of us watching that Phil was really, really strong and doing a great job, and
Yeah.
the other guys were starting to struggle. Like that, oh, who was the one with his back issue? He was just running like he
Mm,
was crippled. It was
yeah.
amazing mental strength to go that deep. But and you made the right comment. It was obvious that Phil was by far and away the favourite at that point. He was just looking so good. So I don't know why that it must have annoyed a few Americans, I think.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So yeah.
Um, but yeah, so yeah, Hurdies. And this would have been Hurdies 25.
Yeah, it was, and it was. So I mentioned the sweat thing earlier. That's a recurring theme in my running. I can't do 10K runs without taking hydration along. I have to take hydration along, and that's just my normal. Yeah, it is what it is. So a lot of people do have to hydrate when they run, which I get, but I've got to carry a backpack, like one of those little
Yeah.
running bags. So Hurdies was I was not ready for it. I didn't do as well as I did at Birdies. I timed out. I didn't time out. I turned back on the 12th lap, so I did 11. But I was not ready for the fact that it was 4 o'clock in the afternoon start, which is
Right.
already different to Birdies. So and that particular day it was a stinger in Perth, like it was hot, and so that really after 5 hours or so, I was already struggling. I was already behind on my hydration. Teresa, my wife, my crew, she was really worried about that as well, and she just kept hammering me about it, which was good. And I sort of pulled it back into line by lap 8 or 9. I was feeling reasonably okay again, but by lap 11, one of the problems was my son had dipped out early. When one of the things I love saying is I've run more backyard loops than him. He
Yeah.
hates it, but he's running all the same events. In fairness to him, he was crocked at the last Birdies, but he'd stopped at lap 7, I think it was 7 or 8. And so that made it a little bit harder for me mentally as well, because I'm looking at my son just going, oh, I'm a little bit envious of him just sitting there in the chair with an icy pole and looking pretty
Yeah.
chilled. But at the same time, he at one point he said to me, "I can't believe you're still going." I went, "Hey, that was motivating." I just went, "Yeah, all right. I'm going to
Yeah.
see how far I can go." And
Yeah.
unfortunately, as I said, I only did it's a lot of running. I got to 11, but I was just the dehydration part. I actually stopped listening to Teresa, and just didn't eat or drink enough, and I just ran out of puff. That was just pure and simple nutrition. Yeah,
Yeah.
yep.
Have you ever, because your stomach isn't big, like, do you ever like find yourself close to throwing up in these races?
Yeah, and that's one of the things with the sleeve is that if you do overeat, it comes back out.
Right.
That's what happens. So you do have to be careful. And over time, I've gotten way better at managing that. Like in the early days, oh man, it was almost a standard sort of thing, almost every meal, because I've still got that mindset of wanting to eat food. And then eating too much, then I'll be like, it was funny. Like we have dinner together as a family every night, and they'd all just go, "Oh, your dad's off again," and that's just the way it was. But
Yeah.
thankfully, as I've gotten used to living with my sleeve now, it doesn't. It very rarely happens. So very rare, and including on the run, because most of the stuff's liquid that I'm consuming through the gels or the electrolytes. I use a lot of electrolytes. I don't drink. One of the things I don't like drinking is water.
Right.
I just can't. I just do not like the taste of it at all. So I drink. Always use electrolytes in my bottles, and the ones that I've found work best for me are the Bix ones. So I reckon I'd be one of Vlad's biggest customers. I reckon. I use a lot of them. He always gives me. I keep getting water bottles from him though, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Awesome.
Uh, yeah.
Um, so the ITB was all good at
Yeah, it was fine at Hurdy's. It was fine. And for no other, I hadn't started doing leg day at that point yet. It just didn't play up. So one of the things I was running with that ITB issue, and Owen, the mate I mentioned earlier, had said to me, one of the things you got to do is just intentionally like activate your glutes. So and that'll really help. So in my running after Birdies, I started activating my core and my glutes more, and that definitely has made a big difference. I haven't felt my ITB in a run since. So
okay. So,
yeah.
so what when you say how do you activate the core and the glutes?
I just for me, I just tighten my butt. So it's a weird thing to say, but that's what you
Yeah.
do. You just clench your butt cheeks basically, and
Yeah.
it probably looks a bit funny to the passerby, but um, so I run along with my hips slightly pushed forward and my butt tight.
Right.
So
Okay.
that's how you activate them. So
Okay.
it works. So yeah. I don't run the whole run like that because that'd
Yeah.
just be weird. But yeah,
Yeah.
just at different points, I'll just usually when no one's around.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Yeah,
and like, do you also do that like during backyard ultras as well?
yeah, definitely. Yeah, absolutely. Very intentionally, and I start doing it from an early stage
Yeah.
because that the pain of that ITB. I don't know if you've ever experienced it, but it's really sore. Like it goes from your butt all the way down to the top of your calf, and it hurts. It really
Yeah.
hurts. So yeah, I
Yeah.
don't want to. I'm a bit of a wuss. I don't like pain very much, which is weird if you're running backyard ultras because pain is just part of the course.
Mm.
But yeah, the other thing I always get big issues with on long runs is blisters,
Right.
and I haven't yet come up with a decent strategy to manage blisters. And I've tried so many different things.
Right. Okay.
Um,
You've
yeah,
tried toe socks?
yeah, tried them. I've got creepers now. I bought a few pairs of creepers on the Black Friday sale,
Yeah.
so they're ready to go for my next long run. But I just did the Busselton half last weekend, and I got much better results. But it's only a half marathon.
Yeah.
But I got two gnarly blisters on the outside of both my little toes. No other blisters, but they're decent whoppers. And I don't know why. I've watched the videos and I've listened to the podcast and I still get blisters. So it's pretty frustrating. But
And
I'm
is
also I still weigh a bit too, eh? Like I've lost a lot of weight, but one of the side effects of weighing 187 kilos and then dropping down to 100 kilos, that's what I weigh. I'm still 100 kegs. So for a runner, that's a pretty big weight.
yeah.
Um, yeah, 5 kilos of that's excess skin. Um,
Right. Yeah.
yeah, which is that's not a challenge for me, but it is there. So yeah, it's just my reality.
Yeah. Okay, and you did birdies again last
Yeah,
year you mentioned. Tell me about
yeah.
that.
Oh, that was that was. I mean, I love Birdie, so I'm not going to rag on Birdie, but I tell you what, man, oh man, that was rough. So what happened there? It started off beautiful, like beautiful weather. 10 o'clock in the morning, there we are, light of us, running through the old caravan graveyard and all that, and it's just wonderful, and everyone's having a great time. And then it started to rain,
Right. Yeah.
and I was lucky. I didn't. Fair enough, it rains in winter, right? But I've the first birdies we had no rain. It was just beautiful, sunny through the day, and then as we got into the night hours, it's beautiful. Stars were out. It was just so magnificent. But in this one, it just bucketed down. Like it rained hard. Like we would get in the corral and we were just like drowned rats shivering together because it was cold too.
Yeah.
And I'm just going, why are we doing this? Now I know I'm mad. Like we're actually certifiable. There's 180 other people that are just as mad as I am. And we're all standing there, soaked to the bone before we even went again. And that was lap two, I think it was. It rained and it didn't stop raining. I reckon for about I don't reckon it stopped till about lap eight. Like it just hosed down. And what happened to the course? There were rivers running across the course. You've run birdies, haven't you?
Yeah,
You know
yeah.
about
In
yeah. So you got
23, yeah.
the yeah. So you got the creek crossings
Mm.
at the back end of the course. Well, those things turned into torrents. Like you should have seen it. It was it was mad amount of water. You had to sort of leap across it, and it was actually on one of those leaps that I did something to my right knee. So I've also got a torn um, ligament in my knee, which as I lost all the weight, it doesn't actually bother me at all, and
Yeah.
so I've never really worried about it. And when I was fat, the knee surgeon wouldn't do anything about it. He said, "You're too fat. I'm not going to waste my time operating on your knee." So,
Yeah.
which I thought, oh yeah, fair enough. That's pretty rough, but get it. But that knee is the one I jumped across the creek on lap nine, and it went pop. And it was really sore,
Yeah.
and I should have stopped there, but I didn't. And so I went and did one more loop because you can't be finishing on the one that yeah. So I only got to 10, but that was a knee injury that put me out that time. And purely because of the impact of the rain. If I didn't have to jump that creek, I was still feeling really good. Like, and I
Mm.
actually got to embrace the rain. Like
Wow.
after a while, it sort of just yeah.
Yeah.
I just thought this is actually really cool, and I had no sweat issues. Like it was just really,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
the best I'd felt actually. Like stomach wise, my nutrition plan was absolutely spot on. we were doing really well. And as I've mentioned, Teresa's my crew at every run I've done, and she just did an amazing job. And we were in a really good space, but that knee thing just, yeah, it was such a shame. Actually, quite a few people picked up injuries at that one, including my mate Charles. He got crippled by an injury as well.
Ooh,
Um, yeah, so that was awesome for different reasons.
yeah,
But I felt I was quite disappointed after that one because I knew I had way more in me.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, the knee was just cactus. So
Mm.
that was that.
And how did you injure the knee in the first place?
Um, I was playing soccer. So I used to play soccer, but the funniest, actually, what that's what actually prompted the decision. I remember playing in a futsal tournament. We were playing indoor soccer, and I played with my sons, and we were playing in the finals, and they broadcast it on YouTube.
Right.
And I thought, oh, that'd be cool to watch back. And I saw myself on the screen, and for the first time, it's like the scales fell off my eyes, and I saw just how fat I was. There's me on this TV screen, surrounded by guys half my age, and there's me thinking I'm playing a terrific game of futsal, and I look like the Titanic trying to complete a turn every time the ball would go. If the ball wasn't passed directly to my feet, oh, there was just no chance. It was so bad. And that was the moment. So yeah, but that's also how I injured my knee. It's an old soccer injury. I played soccer for many years, so yeah, just just a dodgy bit of turf one day, turned the wrong way, and there went my ligament. So there's a medial ligament tear. So
Oh,
it's
okay.
not like an ACL or anything, but
Yeah.
it's enough. It lets you know it's there occasionally, but never bothers me on a run. So yeah,
Yeah.
which I'm thankful for.
So have you like hit your target weight, or is there still are you still planning on trying to lose more?
Not really. I actually need to build muscle up. So that's why I started doing Sebastian's dragged me down to the gym a number of times. So I'm trying to actually, if anything, put a bit of muscle on, which obviously weighs a bit.
Yeah.
But I've got to, yeah, it's a balance. From a weight loss point of view, I'm stable. So I'm fine with that. One of the things I did look at was removing the excess skin. As I said, that's 5 kegs, so it's a fair bit to carry around. But you know, the process for that is so invasive. I would have been, and the reason, one of the main reasons I didn't want to do it is the recovery was 3 months.
Yeah.
And I thought 3 months without running, get stuffed. I'm not doing that. So
Yeah.
running is so important to my well being and my mental health now. Yeah, if I don't go for a run at least every second day. Normally I run every day, but if I don't go every second day, my wife will almost kick me out of the house because I'm getting grumpy. Go
Yeah.
for a run, so which is
Yeah,
cool.
I can imagine it would be really painful, like getting the skin removed.
Yeah, yeah. It's when he described it to me, it was funny because he said, "You've got kids?" I said, "Yeah," and he goes, "Oh, so women that have had kids, they've got scars from that. That's just the way it is." And he said, "This is your scar." And I went, "You know what, mate? You're absolutely spot on." He's a Scottish guy. He's very direct. Like I
Yeah.
love it because I'm Dutch, so
Yeah.
he just hits you with the truth straight up, and I really appreciate that. And he said, "Nah, it's not bothering you because he's also a runner, as it turns out." So he said, "Is it bothering you in your run?" I said, "No, not really, but just from a vanity point of view, I don't."
Yeah.
I don't like being seen with my shirt off, put it that way.
Yeah.
But he said, if it's not bothering you in the runs, you're not getting rashes or anything from it, then don't worry about it.
Yeah.
So just, yeah, it'll
Yeah.
make your legs stronger.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. So tell me about the weights. Is there like have you set yourself some goals or anything like that as far as the
Yeah.
weight work goes?
Yeah. So my first leg day workout, for those who do follow me on Strava, you'll see that I did this leg workout and I tried to compete with my 20-year-old son. That was the biggest mistake I have made in a very, very long time. I ruined my week of running, that's for sure. I was so
Yeah.
sore. But in terms of goals, I just want to build and just listening to different people again on the podcast and also talking to people in the running community. There's a guy whose videos I watched, and he said, "Video running is actually a one-legged sport, so you need to strengthen your legs." And I thought that's actually true. Like you think about it, when you're running, you got one leg on the ground at a time. That's how.
Mm.
Well, that's a really good point. So that's what prompted me to start doing leg day, and that's all I do at the gym. I don't do anything else. I just go in there, do legs, and it worked. It does actually work. Like I've noticed that already on my runs. I'm just feeling much stronger. So
Yeah.
yeah, just really targeting the quads, the calves, and the hammies and the glutes. So
Mm.
yeah, but I
And
still to this day don't like the gym, but I go.
yeah. And did you have like a PT just explain what exercises you needed to do, or did you just like watch YouTube, or did
No.
just someone tell you?
Yeah, well, one of the funny things about my former lifestyle is I had gym memberships and I used PT, so I know how to do all this stuff. I would just go get a milkshake on the way home. So kind of pointless, but I knew all the exercises, and my dad's also very active. He's always been lifting weights, and he's a very active and fit mid 70s guy.
Mm.
So I knew I've got a strong background in that stuff, so I knew what to do, and I just set up a program and just worked on it. So
Mm.
yeah, set my son up as well, and off he goes. So
Yeah, very good.
mm.
So what backyards are you doing this year?
We've got Birdys coming up. I'm crewing actually at Hurdy's for a mate of mine. He's going to give it a bit of a nudge.
Oh, cool.
He couldn't run it last year. I think he was jogging around in a moon boot last year. So I told him I'd crew for him. Hurdy's is one I said I'll do every second year. I'd like to give it another crack,
Yeah.
but yeah. So I'm crewing there, and then I'm running Birdies again, and then there's the Light Horse Ultra Marathon that we're doing. It's not a backyard, but that's another event that I'm running, and I'm doing the Soul Runners Half Marathon again in May as well. So
Oh, yeah. So,
yeah,
Light Horse, that's a timed ultra, isn't it? Like you've got options,
24 hours. Yeah,
but you're doing the
yeah,
24 hours?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
Awesome.
So it's actually the last year they're running it, and it's on Father's Day. And last year I stopped after 12 hours because of Father's Day, and
Right.
had to to go home and do all the family stuff. I said to the boys, if I pay for you guys to run Light Horse, can we do Father's Day around Light Horse? And they went, yeah, sounds good. So,
Yeah.
yeah. So my wife and my daughter-in-law are going to be down there crewing for us, and we're going to be, well, I think they are. They might have heard it here first, but yeah, me and the boys are going to be running loops at Light Horse, which will be pretty cool. So
Yeah.
happy Father's Day to me.
Yeah, unreal. And have you
Yeah.
thought about a goal for how far you want to go?
Yeah, I want to knock over. My goal would be to do anything over 100 Ks. That'd be an acceptable outcome. I quite comfortably. I found that format really works for me. It's only a 3K loop or something, and the format's just a bit more forgiving. And not that backyards aren't forgiving in the sense that you get breaks and downtime, but you don't. It's not timed. Like you don't have to jump back up on the hour and get going again. So it's a little bit more forgiving, particularly with my sleeve. That works well for me. Yeah, so that was a nice run. Again, that got really wet. And I had some good toe management strategies in that one. So another runner was just saying to me, they said, with the sand, we were running through massive puddles, and my socks were filling up with this fine sand. And this person said to me, just make sure you take your shoes and socks off every 2 laps and just dry your feet, and you won't get. And I had no blisters. Like I ran, I think it was 60 odd Ks or whatever it was at Light Horse, and I had no blisters, I had no issues, and I thought that's just amazing, like
Yeah.
in pretty tough conditions. So yeah, just drying the feet and putting fresh. I had a lot of fresh socks with me,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
my wife would dry them on the. We had a little heater there, so she'd dry them between loops, and that was
Yeah.
cool. Work.
Yeah, and you'll have time to do that as well because you don't
Mm,
have that time restraint like
exactly.
you do in a
Yeah,
backyard. So if you well, 100 kilometers, that will be your distance PB.
yeah, it would be. Yeah, yeah. But I'm hoping to beat that at Birdies, so that'd
Yeah.
be. Yeah, I'd love to. Yeah, and there's no reason I shouldn't. Yeah, I mean, I'm a lot better now with the nutrition and the hydration. Birdies is a course that's well set up for the time of day and all that stuff. It all plays into my hands. So I'd love to knock over the PB thing there, and then light horse would just be a bonus. So
Mm.
yeah.
Yeah, unreal.
Mm.
And that's it. Any interstate runs or anything like that?
Ah, you and I were chatting about this. There's a few that you mentioned that I don't know. What were you saying again? Chilling like a villain. Where was that event? You're spotting all these little pieces of wildlife and
Oh,
things. I thought that would be a.
that was
I thought
it.
that'd be a.
Yeah, that was at GV.
Yeah, well, that one sounded pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, there are. Yeah, there's the snakes and there's kangaroos. And I even saw in 24, I did 38 yards there and was the assist. I am 100% sure that I saw a black panther. 100% sure.
Oh, the Black Panther strikes again.
Yeah, yeah. Because people do see that, like, there are sightings all the time. And
Yeah.
I'm sure I am 100% sure it wasn't um what's it called when you see something? It's
A hallucination.
hallucination. Yeah, it wasn't
That's
a hallucination. Yeah.
how do you know though? Because you're always hallucinating and stuff like that, aren't you?
Usually when you're hallucinating though, you know you're
Oh
hallucinating.
dear.
I
Yeah. Okay.
do. I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've
I
never
end
run
up
deep enough to
hallucinating.
hallucinate. So
Yeah. Well, I mean, the thing is, if maybe I have been seeing things and I don't know they're an hallucination,
yeah.
then so maybe I have been, I just don't know.
But you're pretty confident that panther was a panther.
Oh yeah, yeah, 100%.
What
Yeah.
was he doing?
Running, running. It
Oh, he
was,
was
yeah, there was the course follows a river, and on the other side of the river, yeah, I just saw it just sprinting off.
amazing.
Yeah, yeah,
Well, that
pretty.
sounds like it'd be a fun one to do, but I'd love to. I'd love to. Like the other one that's got my interest is Dead Cow. I just love the
Mm,
name, and I just love the like the coverage that I've seen over the last few years of Dead Cow. It just looks really cool. I'm not, and that's I'm not going to go mega long there or anything, but it'd just be really cool to be a part of the story that is Dead Cow Gully. Like it'd just be, I just that's just a fascinating ultra for me.
yeah,
So
you would love it if you like.
yeah,
It's a little bit like Birdies in that like people set up their camp along the course and you're
yeah,
running past them, they're clapping on both sides, and the surface is a bit similar too. Like it's a bit rough, but it's soft and um, yeah, it's a great. It's got a lot of backyard history there.
yeah. And that's the stuff I just really value. I just think that's just it's just cool stuff. Like
Mm.
yeah, I do enjoy just getting into the whole vibe of the thing. So I
Yeah,
just like immersing myself into whatever I do. So
yeah,
yeah, whether it's obviously, I've mentioned my church a number of times. I love being involved there. I love being involved with community. I'm the treasurer of a soccer organisation here. I'm obviously you mentioned being a run director. I just love being involved and just being a part of the experience. And the same would be true for something like Deadco. To be able to say that I've done that would be just
yeah,
a
yeah.
bit of a bucket list thing for me. So
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, well, you'd be able to take some awesome on-course photos as well, like, with the cow skull behind you and
yeah,
stuff like that.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that'd be good. So are you doing any more? You got any more lined up?
This year, my next one, I actually just signed up yesterday for Two Rivers, the one in Echuca.
Oh
Um,
yeah, yep,
yeah, I did that one last year and I did 33 yards and it was nice and flat, but my knee was just hurting so much. And I couldn't really bend it anymore, so I had to
yep,
stop. So I'm going to
yep.
head back there, and yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about it.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, you look like you were pretty strong at MVP as well. You're going all right.
Yeah, I felt pretty good. It was the best I've run there, that's for sure. People were saying, "Oh, you're looking really good." It was the best. A lot of people told me it was the best that they've seen
Yeah,
me run, and I felt really good too. And just making it through that Saturday in direct sun was pretty tough. And then I made it to 27, which was the course PB for me. And
yep,
then it was just like, yeah, my legs just wouldn't go fast enough anymore. And maybe it had something a little bit to do with doing a course PB and being really happy with how I thought I'd done. And maybe that was had something to do with it. My mind just gave up, but I'm still happy. I'm still happy. That's
yep.
one of my new rules is I'm not allowed to be disappointed uh, after a backyard ultra anymore. Yeah,
Yeah, it's funny you say that because that's one of the things I've learned in my running journey is that there's no such thing as a bad run. Like you've just got to. I just am so thankful that I've got a new lease of life, as it were. You know, my son. I remember after my first Bustleton half marathon, my son Ethan was sitting there, and we were down at a little place called the Aquarium, sitting in the water, just relaxing. And I'd run another at that point, I hadn't run all my half marathons have been sub 2. So I was pretty stoked with that.
mm,
And he's sitting there and he's just gone, Dad, I just want to say I'm really proud of you. And I said, Oh, that's, appreciate you saying that, Ethan. That's cool. But I said, I actually owe you an apology. And he said, What? I said, Yeah. I said, Mate, it's cool where I'm at now. But I said, for 15 years, I was living a lifestyle that didn't set a really good example as a father to his sons. And So I apologise for that, and I'm really thankful that we've got this opportunity to kick forward now and share this interest together. So he's been a big part of. He's my first sub. He was the guy that ran with me on my first sub 35K, which I did at the home of Parkrun, Bushy Park. So that was mega. That was, yeah, I knocked like a minute and a half off my PB on that one run. So
Yeah,
that was just flicking through these highlights on my Strava yesterday. I was just all these memories came back, and he was there with me then. So yeah, that was cool. Yeah,
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 yeah. It sounds like you made the right move getting that
yeah,
gastric sleeve.
yeah. Yeah, and I just hope. Look, I don't know. A lot of fit people obviously listen to your podcast, but maybe my story, they can share it with someone that they know. I just really, yeah, and I remember the minister in my church said to me, I was really ashamed, when I first went in and got the sleeve done. I didn't want to talk about it, didn't want anyone to know. One of my good mates knew about it, and the minister of my church knew about it. That was it. No one else knew. And anyway, he said to me, he goes, "Oh, Ruben, hopefully one day you'll be able to share your story and help people, encourage people." I never thought for a million years that I'd be sitting here talking to you, Pato, on a backyard ultra podcast, sharing my story. But it is a story that is uniquely mine. But I really hope that yeah, I can inspire, even if it's just one other person, just to go get help. It is an addiction, the food addiction. Get help with it, whatever it takes, and then find an interest. And if it's running, then welcome to the family, because it's a pretty cool running family that we're a part of, and I just remain thankful. Every one of my runs has got the old hashtag on the bottom there, man, I love running, and
Yeah,
it's not always true that day that I actually love the run, but I just make myself say it, because if I say it often, if I keep saying it, it's true. So
yeah,
yeah, it's
yeah.
yeah. But I just, as I said, I just hope my story, that it can just, even if it helps one person, I'll be really, really amazed, and thankful for that. So.
Well, it's an awesome story, and I mean, you've done so well. Like, it's something to do. Like 12, it was 12 you did in your first backyard. That's hard to
Yeah,
do. That's hard to do. It's hard
yeah,
for anyone to do 12, and then, but yes, I'm excited to see what you're going to do at Birdies this year.
yeah. I'm keen. That's going to be. I've got a lot of leg days between now and then, so
Yeah,
yeah, I'm really hoping that the rain stays away, and I don't have any excuses, because I want to leave it all out there for sure, whatever that looks like for me. I mean,
yeah,
yeah, I mean, if I could get to 24, that'd just be amazing. But
yeah.
yeah, that'd be superb.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you definitely, a thing or two about running backyard ultra. So I need to ask you, Ruben, what are your three backyard ultra tips?
My three tips. I gave this a bit of thought, actually.
Yeah.
So my first one is talk to people on the loop, because it keeps you. You mentioned that, what you had before, just maybe that it just keeps you out of your head. So if you talk to people on the loop, it's really cool. Like, you learn stuff about people, and as I said, it keeps you out of your own head. So you're thinking and focusing on something else. And for me, that's really important. So, but I just love a chat anyway. I just love learning about where people are from, and love hearing their story.
Mm.
And I think my second tip would be, if you are starting out with backyard ultras, talk to people who've done it, learn from them. And like I did with your podcast, I listened to so many of your podcasts, and before I'd even done a backyard, but my head it was almost information overload. And I think it's really important, as part of that process, to do your own training runs and figure out what does actually work for you. Take all of that advice, all of those tips, and then distill them down and figure out which ones work for you. And that's an important part of the process. So the training is really important. And the last one is listen to your crew.
Mm.
Um, the crew are cogent. They not sleep. Well, they might be sleep deprived, but they're not as sleep deprived as you are. They haven't been. They're there to actually help, and I'm really, really thankful with the crew that I've got. Thankfully, Teresa just keeps fronting, and she does a terrific job. She listened to uh, a podcast about crewing as well. Obviously, Gemma's very experienced crew, for Phil. So yeah, listen to that, and also Tamala, who's been crewing Charles for most of his backyards, if not all of them. Yeah, she was also very important in terms of helping Teresa become a really good crew. So yeah, just make sure you listen to your crew. And I'd love to give you a fourth tip about footwear, but I haven't figured that one out yet. So yeah,
Awesome. Well, thanks heaps for coming on, Ruben. It's been awesome to have a chat and hear your story. And Yeah, I'm really glad you booked in for Unscripted.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Pato. I've been looking forward to this for a long time, and really appreciate you letting me have a chat with you.
Yeah, no worries. All the best for everything you do this year, and especially the run at Birdies.
Yeah, thank you very much, Pato. Yeah, you should come across for it.
I was thinking that I should. I should. If I do, I definitely will come across for Birdies again, but I don't think it will be this year.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
It'd be great. I'll be there. So whenever you turn up, I'll run a couple of laps with you.
yeah, yeah. Awesome, awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sounds good.
All right. Well, thanks, Ruben. We'll definitely be in touch.
No worries. Cheers, Pato.
See ya.
See ya.